He got problems, she got problems, only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another story time, and welcome to My Best Friend Love Me. This story time should be short. It should be short. It should be short. So anyway, I don't know if y'all remember, I don't know what story time, maybe In Love with the Same Man. In Love with the Same Man, I told y'all like I work at a radio station. Yeah, and like my managing boss, me and my managing boss are real cool. Y'all see my managing boss actually on this channel. Y'all see him on this channel. So anyway, yeah, so I worked at me working at the radio station. Actually, the managing boss was the one who was very prevalent of me getting the job, actually. And at this point in time, did I have a car? I don't even think I had a car. I think maybe my car was messed up and my mom hadn't fixed it yet. I think my Hyundai Accent, the car that I got while I was in school, I think it had finally died or something, and my mom hadn't showed up for the car. Or I ain't had no gas or something. I don't know. Anyway, Keisha was the one who took me to the interview, and I ended up getting that job. Now, I'm not gonna front. Working at the radio station, I learned a lot. I learned a lot when it came down to behind the scenes, when it came down to the business of it, especially like advertising. Like advertising is your currency. Real talk, Leah. Like the people talking, they bring in people too. Like you like the radio personalities, but the personality has to be extravagant enough to pull in the people in order to pull in your advertisers. So your ad space is literally what you're fighting for, what you're pushing for. So there's a 60-second ad and a 30-second ad. So when I be on YouTube and I be watching and I be looking at these hour ads or these same or the ads that doesn't fit with the genre of the person that I'm watching, it's like this doesn't match at all. And why is this ad an hour? It's like why are you loading other people's channel through somebody else's channel? Like that's not good business to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, if you watch the ad completely, like the person that you're watching makes the money. But it's like you're deterring, because it's like if that person is paying attention, like you should not be putting an hour ad into that person's channel. And then it don't even be an ad. It'd be like that person video. And it's like, what the hell? What is this? This doesn't make sense. This algorithm doesn't make sense at all. Which is why when I look at like some ads, like I'm just gonna skip. Like I've noticed like they are pushing who is that? The E channel, the Grammy Awards, that they're pushing that whole hour video as a ad. No, absolutely not. Anyway, so to me, you're loading people channels because ads are 60 seconds and 30 seconds, literally. Because what you want to do is make your commercial very entertaining, just enough where you keeping people's attention, like TikTok, which is why TikTok algorithm works so well. That's why that algorithm works so well. And the Chinese people had it right. Is if I pay the creators pull in the people, which the people will pull in the advertisers. They were right. They had the mindset. America don't want to pay people. They want to only be the rich ones while they look down on you, not realizing if the people below you don't have money to patron your business, how can the economy flow? Idiots. Like, racism is insecurity on steroids. Real talk. Because y'all really don't have no common sense. Anyway, so yeah, so I learned a lot, like with the scenes. I learned about a lot of how they would do like the funeral announcements, because that was paid ad space. You also want to bring in your local people and have them paying for ad space. So you had like the churches paying for ad space. And at this point in time, the place that I was living in, the city that we was living in, like churches was bigger than the club. Churches were bigger than the club. Especially black churches. So it's like this is during the time where it's like the mega church thing. So there were quite a few pastors that was like big time. Real talk. I think it was like 4, 5. It was more like a competing type situation. I won't necessarily, yeah, it was more like a competing type situation, and like pastors hold power in the city. So it was like you were trying to get your pastors on as well, so they would have a slot on either on Sunday or even during the week. Um, what else? They were trying to do like the supermarkets had ad space, like you wanted to have your local people as well as people that you don't live there. So at this point in time, the big time syndicated shows was Tom Joyner. Tom Joyner would come on first, and after Tom Joyner, it would be Doug Banks. Rest in peace, Doug Banks. I love to listen to Doug Banks and Dee Dee in the morning. I love that show. I don't know what happened. Like, I think before he got sick, before any of that happened, it was like his ratings started going down. And so people, like, because he was syndicated. So they started pulling him out. Just like with Tom Jordan. Tom Jordan, I think Tom Jordan he had a great run. He really had a great run. Like him and J. Anthony Brown and Sybil was her name. Was the female name. So like they had a great run. Like Tom Jordan did his thing. Like Tom Jordan was like the messiah of black radio at this point in time. So the radio station that I worked in, then after like Tom Joyner and Doug Banks, it went into more like the local. And then like 12 noon, here came like the local personalities. And then it was like gospel hour at 12 noon. And then in the city I live in, quartet was a big thing too. So I've met and seen like some famous people I've sung behind because of the church that I attended. And our choir sung very well. So our choir was like a big thing around town. I've sung behind some famous people, some famous gospel people. I've sung behind John P. Key. I think Keish reminded me of that. I forgot about that. Did we sing behind John P. Key? I know I sung behind Timothy Wright. I've sung behind Rance Allen. I've got that on video. I'll insert it. So yeah, so like I ain't know, like I was thinking about that actually coming to work. I was like, dang, I done sung behind some legends when it comes down to gospel. Like in the choir, singing behind them, like our choir was requested to sing behind these people or to sing for these people. Timothy Wright had a workshop at our church, and we were the choir to sing behind him. That's gonna be in a whole nother situation. But anyway, like in this city, like there was what was her name? Minnie Martin, who was a big time situation when it comes down to it. And she used to work with like Luther Barnes. Luther Barnes was still on the radio. I did I meet? No, I did not meet Keith Wonderboy Johnson. He was on the phone. So I talked to him on the phone and transferred him to my manager. Yeah, like it was like anyway. So at this radio station, also there were other people that I worked with. There was one girl. There was a female DJ, very nice girl. She was most of the time she did what we call remotes. So basically, like when y'all see like the radio station, or y'all see I almost called the radio station here. When y'all see the radio stations like out in the public and like they have their van and you hear like the radio personality talking and they having not concerts, contests, and they're trying to give you like the radio station merch and all that stuff, like the what you call it, the people who are holding the event, like the creator of the event, are the ones who ask for the radio station to come in and do a remote. So basically, like their event is being broadcast on the radio station. And so like they had to pay for that. That's money as well. Like you want your radio station to be in the local community, right? So there was the female DJ who did remotes. There's a male DJ who did remotes. There is a man, I don't know if he's living or not, but he used to come in and he used to give Black History Black History facts. And he used to end it with be proud of your blackness. He used to come in and he used to do that. It was two black radio stations in this city. So he used to come in and he used to do that. Very nice man. And then in between, like my managing boss would do like the 12 o'clock show. But once he left, we had to get another personality in. So it was another female DJ who would come in and she would do gospel. And then we end up having to hire for somebody else. And then they also had this one who DJ who would come in. He got on my nerves. I absolutely could not stand him. He tried to get me fired and it backfired on him. Anyway, so yeah. So is this we end up like looking for a personality to do the radio, like to do the 12 o'clock show after my managing boss left. Still talk to him, still cool to this day. To this day. So yeah, so we end up like doing interviews and stuff or whatever. And so he ended up hiring this girl from the college. I need to get her name. Hold on. We're gonna name her Willow. I don't think I used Willow before. We're gonna name her Willow. Anyway, so Willow was in town because she was attending college. Not college, the university. I keep calling that place a college. It's really a university. She was attending university and she was attending for radio. Basically, she wanted to be a radio personality. She wanted to be a reporter. So that's what she was studying. That was her major. So she was attending that. And so she had applied. And so when she came in to do the interview, you know, of course, she's younger than me, but she was very, so she was like, hey, how you doing? Like, my name is Willow. Like, she, like, was literally like this ray of sunshine. It was like this ray of sunshine. Like, literally, like, you can see, like, the brightness on her face. You can tell, like, she had a sweet spirit. Like, it's just those people, you know, like, when you meet them, it's like, that's a good person. Like, you can just tell. Like, her aura was like you could just tell, just nice, right? And so I was like, oh, okay. And so she was telling me about the stuff, you know, I think she was in her sophomore year. It might have been her senior year. It was either her junior year or senior year, because at this point in time, I think she was looking for hours, like for her major. Like, you had to go to the radio stations and volunteer or either be paid. Like, you can do both, because you had to go out and get some type of experience in the field. And so she, you know, she was telling me like everything that she needed to, you know, she needed to do and how she was going about it. And then also like a little background. She was like, yeah, I'm a preacher. You know, I'm a PK is what she said. I'm a PK, which is preacher's kid. I'm a PK. So yeah, like, you know, I'm just trying to experience new things. And she was like, I don't, you know, I'm from originally like not too far. We're going to call it, she didn't live too far from the city we was in. I'm not gonna do that. She didn't live too far from the city we was in, but she was far enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, not too far, but far enough where I could be an adult type situation, type ish. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so once she left, after she did her interview, when she left, like the hiring boss, who ended up like just taking over the whole thing after the managing boss left, he was like, what you think of her? What you think of her? You like her? And I was like, yeah, I like her. Or she seemed like, you know, she's really into it. And I was like, and give her a chance. Like, you got older, well, I won't say older people. Like, the males were kind of older. The female was kind of older. The dude who would come in and sub when we didn't have nobody, he was old. He would get on. He was old. And I was like, yeah, get some young people in here. Get some youngness in here. Get some Kirk Franklin in here. Get some Kirk Franklin in here. I was like, you know, let her know like quartet is king over here. And then like the choir music, but allow her to mix it up and slide some Kirk Franklin and some Hezekiah Walker up in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like jumpy key, but slide some youngness up in there so we can pull some young listeners. And so he started laughing. I was like, I'm just saying, like, and just give her a chance. And I was like, that's the issue that a lot of people have. Like, they'll just be like, well, we want you to have experience, but how can I get the experience if you're not hiring me when I'm trying to get the experience? You know? So he was like, you're right. And I was like, I didn't have any experience in radio. And I was like, but you hire me. And I said, now look, because literally, baby, turn that office inside out. Turn it inside out. End up being able to, I did commercials. I wonder if he still got my voice over there. I might need to call him and see. And be like, you still got my voice on the radio over there? Play one. Play one of them promos, because I did commercials. I would record commercials. I would put commercials in the data system. Like there's a system putting in promos and making sure the time match up for a certain section of how your show is running. Like when I tell you, like behind the scenes is major. Like being on, like I had to do the show one time because she came to work, but she ain't had no voice. Like, bruh, like just the talking parts. Just the talking parts. Like I was just like, thank you for like I had to turn it on. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to turn it on. Even my managing boss used to do that. He was like, Angie, what you want to do for Christmas? Baby, quit trying to put me on the radio. This ain't my job. Anyway, but I end up being on the radio, end up having to do certain things. Like it was like, okay, yeah, let me step out on this. Let me step out on this. Let me put this gonna look good on my resume. So that was, my pitch. And so he ended up hiring her. And so when she came in, she was like, thank you. I heard you put in a good word for me. I was like, yeah, girl, it's cool. So she was like, okay, yeah, thank you. So when she went back there, like, and he was training her, showing her what to do and how to go about it or whatever, like she got the hang of it and was flowing with her show. Like, and she had a smooth voice. She was putting on the music. She did a mixture. She would do a little Kurt Franklin. She would tell stories. And like she said, she was a preacher, she was a preacher's kid. She was a pre-K. So lo and behold, like once she finally started, talking or whatever, like when she would have like a long song break, she would tell me, she was like, girl, this is my dad. Like we would talk about her dad, would talk about her mom. Her mom was very funny. Very, very funny. And she told me, like, she showed me the church that her dad was the preacher of. And I was like, girl, this is a huge church. She was like, yeah, it's a big thing. And so like I Googled the church and it was a big thing in that town that she was from. And I was like, dang. She was like, yeah, girl. Yeah. She was like, I just kind of, keep a low profile because I don't want people to give me anything, based upon that. Like, based upon my dad, I want to earn it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I was like, so do you just, like, do you go out? Do you do clubs? Do you do bars? She was like, nah. She was like, I'm mostly like a house type girl. Like, we like kickbacks. Like, I go to, like, the house and hang out. She was like, yeah, I may drink here and there. But not too much. She was like, I don't do premarital sex or whatever. She was like, if I have a boyfriend, we have a boyfriend, like I let him know, like I don't do premarital sex or whatever. Like we can kiss or whatever, but I don't do premarital sex. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just a preference. It's just a preference. I was like, girl, I don't judge you. I don't judge nobody. I was like, I do what I do. You do what you do. God still love me. God still love me. And that's the thing. Like y'all be trying to condemn people and whole time God be like, but I love them though. Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So I was like, God still love me, girl. So I'm good. I have a personal relationship with God. I talk to God all the time, which I do. So anyway. So yeah. So we would talk, laugh, have a good time, joke around the time that she was there, and then because her show was like, I think from 12 to 2. I think it was like 12 to 2. And she got paid like a flat rate. She didn't get paid by the hour. She got paid like a flat rate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was from 12 to 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was a show. But anyway, so yeah, because sometimes she would come in and she would have lunch for me. Like we would sit there and talk, laugh, cry, frustration when she would be frustrated with her class or whatever. Like it was getting real serious, especially the closer she got to graduation. And so this one particular time, she she was almost like a Capricorn because she was dating somebody. It was somebody from her hometown, and they had decided to be a couple. They had decided to move their relationship. They had decided to move their relationship to the next level. And so, like, I was looking for, because it was getting kind of close to the time that she was, she's usually there, because she's usually there on time. She used to come in and like prep and get herself together for her show. And so I was looking because it was getting close to that time, like where it had passed that time. So I was looking like, so I happened to look out the window. And when I looked out the window, she was on her phone and she did a face like, and she dropped the phone. So I was like, oh no, she just got some bad news. And my first thought was like somebody in her family had passed away, was my thing. So when she walked in, like she put on this face, she was like, good morning. And I was like, hey girl. It might have been 11 to 2. I don't know. She had put on, she put on her face, I was like, hey girl. She was like, hey. And I was like, you good? She was like, yeah. And went on to the studio. So usually when people be like, yeah, like I give them a moment, like I let them, process their stuff because I'm that type. I'm the type where I be like, just leave me alone. Let me process it. Let me get this together. I need time to think. Leave me alone because I be in my head, honey. Leave me alone. And I don't want to say nothing that I may regret later. Leave me alone. So you know what I'm saying? Like I try to give people space, right? So I was waiting for her to come talk to me, right? So she came in and didn't say nothing like about what had just happened. Like she was just literally like going on like nothing had happened. You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't know I was looking out the window looking for her and saw her facial expression of what just happened. So like I'm waiting for her to say like somebody had passed, like the bad news. Like I'm just waiting for it, but she just going on as normal. And so she was like, "You want lunch today? Let's get lunch today." So it was like a little restaurant like right up the street that served like burgers and stuff like that. And so I was like, "You sure?" She was like, "Yeah, girl, I'm gonna buy you lunch. I'm gonna buy you lunch." And that's typical woman. Like, that's how we do. Like we kind of deflect so we can get through the day. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, "Yeah, girl, I'm gonna buy you lunch." She's not saying nothing about it. And so I was like, "Oh, okay, girl." So called in the order. I took the money, paid for lunch, brought her a change back, and we sitting there, eating or whatever, having a good time. And she was a thick girl. She was a thick girl. Just like I'm a thick girl. She a little thicker than me because she was taller than me. She might have been like 5'8", which would make sense because her dad was tall. So it was like, oh, okay, like we sitting there having a good time, like nothing, like, you know, everything going on is normal. She did her show, so before her show almost end, like it's a long break. And I was like, "Girl, you okay?" And so she was like, "Why you keep asking me that?" And I was like, "Cause I saw you." I was like, I was peeking out the window and I saw you and your facial expression, how it changed and your phone dropped. And so she was like, so I was dating me and my child, like is her childhood best friend. And they grew up together. And so they had decided to take it to the next level. She's like, we decided to take it to the next level, but we didn't tell anybody because she was like, I just had this feeling like I knew it was the wrong thing to do. She was like, but I wanted to give it a try to say, like, at least I tried. I feel you. And so she was like, but he was telling me that he cheated on me. So she was like, so now, like, I gotta, not only am I losing a boyfriend, I was like, you losing your best friend. She was like, right, right. And so once she said that, like, stuff just started flowing out, flowing out, flowing out, flowing out. So that made it where, basically, like, the trust was built. And she started, you know what I'm saying? Like, we would talk about any and everything. She was like, "Girl, since you called it out and you ain't judge me, like, we would talk about any and everything." And at this point in time, not a lot of people knew who that one of the leaders was Ty's dad. So we talked about that. And so she was like, "Angel, I'm not gonna judge you." She was like, "If anything, the person who's responsible is one of the leaders," which was my point. You came after me, buddy. Yeah, I bet you ain't telling people that. You came after me. But I understand because she fine. Don't judge me. Because she fine. Don't pay me no attention. Anyway. So yeah, we would talk about any and everything, girl. Like any and everything. Any and everything. Matter of fact, sometimes she'll answer the phone and you be calling. So anyway, yeah, so this one particular day, she came in because I told y'all this story time is short and I'm about to wrap it up. One particular day, she came in and she had the same face on that she had previous when she had found out that her best friend boyfriend had cheated on her. And so I was like, "Girl, what happened?" And so she was like, "Angel, I'm not ready to talk about it yet." And I was like, "Okay." So I left it alone. Like I said, I give people their space. When they say they don't want to talk, I let them, you know what I'm saying? I leave them be. So she had started her show or whatever and went through the show. And so it come to a long break. And so she was like, "Angel." So I went into the studio. So I'm thinking like something wrong. So I went to the studio. I was like, "Girl, what's wrong? What happened?" Thinking like I'm gonna have to call the main boss. And so she was like, like, like I'm trying to get like all my credits together, trying to get everything together so I can graduate, right? And I was like, yeah. And so she was like, do you know, I gotta get her name. Hold on. Do you know Ivy? I was like, mm-mm. She's like, you don't know Ivy? Mm-mm. Am I supposed to know Ivy? She's like, girl, Ivy is on the other radio station. Like Ivy is big time over here. Like you don't know Ivy? No. She was like, oh my God, oh my God. Like Ivy is the one who helped me out. Ivy is the one who told me like, apply to like the radio stations to try to get your stuff together. Like Ivy helps me out with like schoolwork projects and all that stuff. Like Ivy is like big time. And I was like, girl, I don't know who Ivy is. And so when she told me told me the radio station, I was like, oh, that's why I don't know who Ivy is, because Ivy worked with the white people. Not a not a not a knockdown. That's a major flex. Cause white people don't like to hire black people. White people don't like to hire black people, baby. They do not. Yeah, clearly. DEI is a DEI. Everything's a DEI. Everything's a DEI. Whole time DEI is white women, veterans, black people, any woman of any race. Because y'all wasn't supposed to be working. Y'all ain't supposed to have no rights. I'm just saying. But that's how like it's like you do realize handicapped people. Let me not forget them. I'm sorry. Handicapped people, like y'all. That's why that's the only way you can't like your religion, all that stuff. That's all included in the DEI situation, not just race. But so I was like, and this was like a big time Caucasian station. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, she over there. She was like, yeah, girl, like she over there. I was like, oh, okay, that's big ups, big up. Okay, Ivy, do your big one, but I still don't know Ivy. I ain't know nothing about her because I don't listen to the radio station. So if I'm unaware, I don't know you. So she was like, okay, yeah, I get it. She was like, okay, yeah, I get it. She was like, but let me tell you what happened. And I was like, girl, I'm all ears. I was like, girl, what happened? What happened? So she was like, like I've been going back and forth with like my weight. So she would come in when she was like, we would talk about like diets and stuff. And I would, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Entertain it. Because to me, it was like, girl, I don't think you're fat. I just think you're thick. And it's just your genetic makeup. But because the beauty standard is white women and it's skinny, a lot of times black women feel like they need to lose weight, not realizing like your body structure and how you're built in your genetic makeup, there's no way possible you're ever going to be skinny. I will never ever 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 be a size 5. That's not my genetic makeup. I will never be a size 5. There's no way. Anyway, so yeah, so I will never ever be a size 5. So when people used to be, oh, you need to lose weight, because my thighs have always been thick. I always had a butt, I always had breasts. My granny breasts were humongous. My granny breasts were so huge, like she would have that deep dig in her shoulders from her bra because her breasts were so heavy. I promise you, my granny had to be a size F. She might have been bigger than that. My granny, and it was huge, like heavy, so she had that hump in her back because her breasts were so huge. And back during that time, like nobody's thinking about breast reduction that is causing back pain. And my granny was short. So my granny was short, my mama was thick, short, like literally. It's what it is. Like literally, like my dad's side, like the women are like, they're not really curvy. They're like straight up and down, like, like slim, medium type situation. My mama's side, curvy every which way. Every time you turn around, you're getting you're getting curves. Real talk. So it was like there was no way I would ever be a size 5. So when people was like, oh, you need to lose weight. Oh, girl, you need to stop letting them dudes suck on your breast. Nobody was, well, nightmare was, but the genetic makeup, period, which was why he was attracted, because my breast started coming in early. My butt was already there. So black women usually have like that mindset because of the beauty of standard. And once we got over that, thank you, Jesus. Like, we no longer, you know what I'm saying? Like, but prior to that, it's like it's always diet, exercise, trying to lose these curves and this muscular build that we were just genetically born with and we have. There's no way to lose it. So you see, like now, like Serena Williams, we loved her body. We loved her body. Beautiful. Now when you look at her, it's like, that's why I tell people representation matters, your environment matters. Because she's married to a Caucasian man. So everybody in his family is white. So now your body is like, it's like, oh, I take these because you know I was overweight. Girl, you were never overweight. Your body was absolutely immaculate, amazing. Now we scared for you. We worried. Like, when you showed us, it's like, girl, what's going on? What's wrong? Anyway, so yeah, so she always had an issue with her thighs. It was like, you know, she was very self-conscious about her thighs because, you know, she was thick. She was a thick girl and muscular girl too. Like, you know, she like broad shoulders type, like I am. Like, you know, I know my shoulders are muscular, so I can't do too many weights. So it was like she knew what she could and what she cannot do according to her genetic makeup and according to her body. But she was very, very, what's the word? She wasn't insecure, but what's the word I'm looking for? Cautious. Very cautious about her thighs. You know what I'm saying? Like I am about my butt. It's like a lot of times I wouldn't wear certain things because it's like I know I got a shape and I know my butt is going to be like they're gonna look. And once I got over that, but you know what I'm saying? Like it literally like is like I'm not gonna put that on because that's my butt. It's gonna show my butt showing everything, child. So anyway, she was cautious about her thighs, and I was like, okay. So I'm trying to correlate like where this is going because she's talking about Ivy, like you know what I'm saying? Like she was telling me you introduced Ivy, right? And I'm trying to correlate like what this got to do with Ivy, girl. What you know what I'm saying? Because you and Ivy are close. You and Ivy's hooking you up. Ivy's giving you plans. She's giving you interns so you get your hours. She's helping you out. She's putting your name out there so you can get hired. You know what I'm saying? Like giving you emails, putting you on, giving you the game. Cause she was out in the radio field situation before you. And so I'm sitting there trying to correlate, like, girl, what your thighs got to do with Ivy? So she was like, Ivy invited me out for drinks. And I was like, okay. And so she was like, we sitting out, we going drinks because we're supposed to be discussing, like basically making sure I have all my credits, like going over everything and telling me the things that she didn't know when it was time for her to graduate to make sure, like, you know, I'm not missing anything and I'm on track. I said, okay, well, that's what's up. And so she was like, yeah. And so she was like, well, you can come back, you know, to my place so I can because I forgot something at my place. So we need to go to my place so I can show you to make sure you have this as well, to make sure you're going to have all your credits and everything to graduate. And I was like, okay. So I'm not thinking nothing of it because Ivy is her best friend. Right? So she said when they get to the house and, you know, she downstairs, she said, Ivy, turn on some music. Well, okay. And so she was like, that wasn't an issue, but it was just the kind of music that she had turned on. She was like, it automatically went to, it wasn't like the radio. She turned on like R&B, slow music. And so she was like, I really kind of didn't think nothing of it, but it was like, well, you know, that's kind of weird. Yeah, you're right. Because it wasn't the radio. Like, if the radio was playing, because, you know, during that time where, you know, like the videos, we had like Midnight Love, and then the radios have like the Quiet Storm, etc., you know, like that type stuff. Like, if that was what it was, that would be cool, but it wasn't even that late. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the radio was playing, it would be different. But anyway, so I was like, okay. And so she was like, she went upstairs, but then she came back downstairs and she had got like more comfortable. Like she had took her clothes off and got more comfortable. And so she had on a robe. So she was like, okay. And so she was like, I hope you don't mind. Like, I got comfortable. She was like, but I have like the information. So she said she had a folder. So when she opened it, it's not funny. When she opened it, she was like, like she put it on like the coffee table. So of course, like she turned towards the coffee table and she was like, with the coffee table. She was like, with the coffee table, like, she once she put it on the coffee table, like I lean up, what I'm saying? Like to look down at the coffee table. Right? I was like, okay. And so she was like, so she sat beside me and she was like, I'm not thinking nothing of it because it's like you gotta sit beside me because you got to explain what I'm looking at to make sure like I have what I need to graduate. If it's something that, I missed. So she said, well, Angel, we started going over the papers. And when I'm looking at the papers, it was like, girl, we already went over this papers. Like, we already went over this. Like, I have this stuff already. This is not something that I missed. And so she was like, oh, for real? And so she was like, well, Angel, like, she's real close to me on the sofa. Like, there's no space in between us. And I was like, oh. She was like, yeah. So she was like, yeah, I have this. And so she was like, so, I sit back. It was like, thank you. She was like, I thought it was something new. And so she was like, yeah. And so she was like, you want something to drink? And so she was like, no, I don't want anything to drink. She was like, we already had drinks. She was like, I'm not a big drinker. And she was like, especially if I'm driving, like I still got to go back to campus. And so she was like, yeah, you're right. She was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and give me something to drink. And so she went in the kitchen, came back out, and she had 2 wine glasses. She was like, girl, I already told you, like, I don't want nothing to drink. And so she put the wine glass in front of her, and then she had wine in hers. And she was like, well, it's just in case you change your mind. She was like, that's why I just brought it, but there's nothing in it. So she was like, oh, okay. So she was like, well, I'm getting ready to go because, like, I need, I got to work in the morning, and, I got to go ahead and make it back to campus and find parking because please believe, parking filled up, you would think, it's like, where these people coming from? Parking will fill up quick, especially on campus, but in the parking lot, you do not want to be way back in yonder because it take the buses a while to come through. The shuttles is what they call it. They didn't call them buses, they call them shuttles. So they took the shuttles a while to come through the parking lots to take you different places. So she was like, I don't want to be, caught too late because, of course, they would tell you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be careful if you got people. If you're going to be out at night, make sure it's a group with you. You're not by yourself. If you're going to be by yourself, make sure you maneuver earlier on campus. Like, you don't be out too late, right? For women, especially. So she was like, I don't want to be too late. I need to go ahead and go so I can, park my car and catch the shuttle before the shuttle stops. Because the shuttle stops. If I'm not mistaken, the shuttle stops at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So she was like, I want to catch the shuttle to make sure I can get a ride back to campus if I'm parked way back in the parking lot. So she was like, oh, okay, yeah. She was like, no problem. So she said she had sat beside her real close. And so she was like, Ivy, what are you doing? And so she was like, it's taken a lot for me to build up the courage to finally say this. And she's like, so Willow was like, finally say what? She was like, Ivy was like, Willow, I'm attracted to you. I want you. The way that how thick your thighs is, the way that your thighs, how they accentuate your curves. So like what was going into this spiel, like describing her body. And so she was like, Ivy. And so she was like, no, listen to me. Just let me get it out. And so she said she had went on this spiel. And even after she went on this spiel, she leaned in to kiss Willow. And so she was like, Ivy. And so she was like, you don't feel the same way? You don't feel the same way? She's like, you don't think like I was doing all this stuff just because, I'm being nice, right? So at this point in time, like I'm clutching my pearls. We weren't clutching pearls back then, but stay with me. I'm clutching my pearls because it's like, girl, what? Huh? She was like, Angel, I've never felt so violated in my life. Because at this point in time, like, she wasn't really calling her best friend, but it was like, you're a good friend because you're helping me. So to find out the only reason you helping me is because you like me and you want my thighs.
And as I told y'all, men are not the only people who sexualize you. Women, men are not the only people who sexualize you. So I was like, she was like, you're right, right. So I'm going, what? Hold on. Like I'm discombobulated. I'm scatterbrained. I don't know what to do because it's like, girl, I don't even know how to, because I'm usually the friend who usually like, who kind of like makes sense of the situation, like calm, intellectual, like let me help you. Let me help you. Oh, baby, this one is new to my repertoire. Like, what? So I'm sitting there. So Willow is like, say something. Say something. Angel, say something. Say something. Because at this point in time, it's not called crashing out. It's called spiraling. She was like, I'm spiraling. Basically, I'm about to crash out. I'm about to crash out. Because I don't talk about this. And I haven't told anybody else. And it's like, and she was like, I went to campus with this. Like, I'm carrying this. Say something. Say something. It's basically like, girl, throw me a life raft. Help me out. And so I was like, okay. Because I'm trying to get my thoughts together because I'm shocked. I am shocked at this point because I was not expecting to hear that Ivy made a pass at Willow. That's not what I was expecting. And this story time was not short. I thought it was, which is why I tried the mic. So I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting for her to tell me like, girl, the only reason you was helping me to graduate was because you wanted to eat my cookie snatch. You're a lady. No, come on now. And my thing was, it was like, did she give you like? And I was like, okay, Willow, did you give her any kind of inkling? And I said, I'm not saying that you did, but sometimes, people kind of read wrong. Like maybe it was something that you did and you didn't even realize you was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you give her an inkling like you liked her? So Willow, like, I didn't even know she was gay. I said, okay. So I said, you have every right to feel offended because what your friend has told you. I said, she's not even your friend. You're not even an associate. Baby, you was plotting. She was plotting on you. She was plotting on you. Because the only reason you told me out of your mouth, the only reason you helped me was to get next to me. So your help was loaded. I was like, so she's not even an associate. She's a plotter. Like you're a scammer. Like you know what I'm saying? Like stay away from her. Like girl, stay away from her. With it would make sense. Like her work environment would make sense. That what she was doing would make sense because I can guarantee you the way that she went about it was because it that happened to her in her workplace. Because there are people who feel like they're entitled because they're your boss or they're over you, or because you're a black girl, they feel like they should be able to control you and they're entitled to controlling you. They're entitled to see, to watch your every move because you're a black girl and I'm a white person. So I was like, she's not your friend. She's not even your associate. Like, that's just somebody you can't even be around. That's just somebody you can't trust. And I'm sorry to say that, but she plainly told you the truth. And I said, and you have every right to feel disrespected because that's not even your, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even your cup of tea. Now, it would have been different if you knew that's how she rolled and it was like, she kind of made a pass at you or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, girl, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just approach those people differently where you don't feel like you crossing any lines or you sending any mixed signals. So I was like, if you knew that would be different, but You didn't even know. And then to find out you only doing this because you like me. And so now you were already cautious about your thighs. Now you're even more cautious, and you're even more, it's another word I'm looking for. Um Dang, I can't think of the word. It's not conscious. It's something else that I'm looking for. I won't say self-hate, but it's another word and I can't think of it right now. But so now it's like, ugh, you had an issue with your thighs, so now it's like, now I have even more issues because now you pulling in people, you know what I'm saying, like that's trying to take me out or that's trying to get me by setting me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did this for you, so I'm obligated to get what I want. And that's not the case. I was like, so you have every right to feel certain, feel a type of way towards her, but do not feel that way about yourself. Cause you did nothing wrong. Like you did nothing wrong. But at this point in time, you know what it is. So I need you to set some hard boundaries. Like, cause she gonna call again. She gonna hit you up. She gonna hit you up. And I said, and I guarantee you, she gonna say it was the alcohol. Blame it on the goose. Trying to get loose. Blame it on the alcohol. I bet you. Bet you. She was like, Angel, no, there's no way. I'm saying, I'm telling you, because you turn her down, because now that you have something on her and who she is in the community, and especially over there at that radio station, oh baby, So the next day she come into work, she was like, she has been blowing me up on my cell phone on repeat, and I've been ignoring her. And so she's emailed me and she's like, please talk to me. Please talk to me. I need to explain. I want to apologize. Please talk to me. Please respond. Please respond. And I was like, so what you gonna do? Like, are you gonna go? And I was like, cause it's no judgment here at all. Cause if you feel like, you know what I'm saying, like you can forgive her and you can still be around her, you know what I'm saying, that's your choice. Or you cannot. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get to dictate how people heal. You don't. I tell people this all the time. When you hurt somebody, you do not get to dictate how they heal. You do not get to dictate if they fuck with you or not. You do not get to dictate that. You do not get to dictate that. After you cross somebody's boundaries, you do not get to dictate how they fuck with you. You do not. I was like, so it's up to you. You decide whether you want to be around her, if you don't trust her, you uncomfortable. What I will say is follow your first mind, follow your gut, follow your spotty senses. They tell you what to do. And so she was like, I don't trust her, I want to be around her. So, no, I told her to email me. Like, you can email whatever, or you can text whatever, or you can call, but I'm not coming around you. So she was like, she called. And I was like, of course, you don't want a paper trail. So she called her and she was like, I just want to apologize. She was like, maybe I had too much to drink and I shouldn't have came on to you like that. I shouldn't have said anything like that. But I would understand it, like, if you don't ever want to talk to me again. But I just wanted to make sure that I apologize to you. I went too far, and if you don't want to be around me, I totally understand. But I just wanted to make sure, like, I apologize to you, and if there's anything that you need, you still can call me. And so Willow was like, thank you for the apology, and I've decided to not be around you again. I'm just not comfortable. So Ivy was like, I understand, and they hung up. And so she was like, I'm just ready to graduate, Angel. I'm just ready to graduate. I love you the most because you're definitely so fist in real life, and I'll see you in the next one. That is the story time of My Best Friend Love Me. Bye. So this part don't have no mic, and I'll shout out to so glad my sensor, when it start blinking, it's the right way. Yes, when it start blinking, I know the mics are dead. Both mics are dead. I was supposed to charge them anyway. Anyway.